Annette.
And I'm Whitney Hawkins.
So today we wanted to have a little discussion or talk amongst each other, and then maybe you guys can chime in in the comment section. Yeah. I know y'all don't know me. Some of y'all don't know her, vice versa. Whitney and I are friends. We met each other at church. We've been growing a pretty close relationship over the last couple of months, and it's been great seeing what God has been doing and how He's been using her in my life and how God has been using me in her life. So I encourage you, if you're watching from my channel, go follow her. Please go support her. She does hair. Look, man, she does hair. Look, just hair. So go follow her. I'll have all her information and her Instagram and her link and all that stuff like that in my description.
And for my subscribers, please go follow Karen Annette. She's a beautiful makeup artist. Obviously her makeup is flawless here. And she does lashes amazingly.
Oh, yeah.
What? You forgot? And then most importantly, she's an awesome, amazing woman of God. She's beautiful on the outside, but beautiful on the inside as well. So I definitely recommend you guys to go follow her and subscribe to her channel as well.
Man's way versus
God's way.
God's way. Yeah.
And basically, we're going to be talking about the importance of waiting on God. Some of the repercussions if we don't wait for God, and just the importance of God wanting us to
wait.
Yeah. Definitely learned a lot of life lessons because I wasn't waiting. Just in a lot of different aspects of my life. So we definitely want to bring this conversation to you guys because I know there's so many people that can relate to this, that need to hear this, and we all going through this journey together. So we did want to share it and start a conversation about it.
We wanted to do the man's way versus God's way, just so we can show how we handle things, because sometimes we can try to rush ahead of God when we think that He's moving too slow.
I know for me, I'm kind of a control freak, so if I want something when I want it, I'll take it into my own hands. I'm it's taking too long. I'm gonna just do it. I'll make it work. Sometimes I think I can make it work.
Constantly rushing into relationships at one time in my life, just rushing into them because I wanted to be married, I wanted to have a family, and doing all those things. And I've been engaged twice before. Wow. Those two past relationships were not those were two good examples of me rushing into a relationship that God didn't. He never said that those guys were the ones that He had for me. I just never experienced any peace ever, really.
How strong did you have to be to say, I don't want to get married to you? Every woman wants to get married. It's their dream to be engaged. For me, I've never been engaged, and I have this dream of wanting to be married one day. How strong and how much did you trust God to be able to say, you're not my husband?
Listen, God He's a sudden, He does things suddenly. When something is not, when He has you going in another direction and you keep trying to put your hands in it,
He will pull up.
Girl. And yes, and it hurts too. It wasn't easy. Because once you're engaged, it's when something is not right, when God is saying no, it's hard to walk away from somebody after you've been engaged. Because a lot of times, women think that when they get engaged that they're instantly stuck.
I know.
It's
it's
girl.
Official.
Yes, it's you're not, do you not realize you're still single?
Yeah.
Up until you say I do, you are a single woman, you're a single man, you are not trapped.
Okay, so it's just been a constant journey. I was in a long-term relationship for 5 years with this guy that out of high school. And I honestly probably did feel I don't know, I was we've been together for 5 years, marry him.
Dang.
But if I could be honest, the relationship, it was toxic. I should have left a long time ago. Wow. But I know, if I would have, now that I look back, if I would have got married to him, he's a great guy, he's amazing, he's so cool. But if I look back, our marriage would have failed, quick. I mean, probably, the first year, it wouldn't have worked. But I definitely followed that pattern of just dating men. I never stayed alone to myself. I was I can't be myself. I have to have somebody. So I always have been dating someone. I've never took a long period of time without having somebody to text or somebody to go hang out with or whatever. And it's failed every time. I would seek men. They weren't seeking me all the time. And I know, and I was expecting them to wife me.
Wow.
But, I'm seeking them, but the Bible says he who
Girl,
finds
come on. Yes, girl. That
finds a wife. Like, I used to, even in relationships, I would
Crazy.
like teach these men. Nothing like I swear I'm not bashing men, okay? I'm not doing that. But I would really teach them how to love me, or teach them to see the value in me. Like, I would like almost force them to see the value. But as like when I look back now, that wouldn't have worked because he's supposed to already recognize it. But yeah, so it's failed every time that I tried to force it my way. Even when God, like, if there is something bad that happens, I should run, but I choose to stay. Like, it's almost like God gives you a sign and he's like, wait, you're just gonna stay? You're gonna stay again?
Yeah.
Again. And it's only because I'm like, I think I've reached I'm at 27, I'm getting older, I'm seeing people constantly on social media getting married and all these cute videos and engagements and proposals, and it's just the pressure of that. I would be lying if I didn't say I wasn't looking at it and looking at myself like, dang, I can't even get a boyfriend.
Wow.
This is just an honest thing. So I have found myself in the past few years waiting for my husband, like wanting my husband like immediately. Like, that's a goal of mine. It's almost like once you finish school and you have your career or whatever, you're just like, okay, so the next step is getting married and having a family. So I have been kind of forcing stuff, and I don't wait on God's timing. So that's been an issue for me. Sure, like so many can relate to it.
Waiting on God, it's like, this is like where it's like difficult, because waiting on God in your singleness, you're not at all concerned with who's my man, who's my husband, where is he at. You're not concerned about that. Like, our concern, like waiting on God, to me looks like, first off, what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We have, when we're not married, our time is not divided. It's not our time with the Lord is it's undivided. We are able to do a lot more things.
And I think we look at it as a lesson.
Yes.
We do look at a singleness as a lesson, not being, dang, she's this old and still not married. Like, I couldn't think about it. People say, like, every time, because I'm a hairstylist, so I love my clients, just let me put that right there. But they do ask, do you have any kids? Like, it's like a thing to ask at this age.
I'm so familiar
so
with
it's
that.
looked at as a less than.
It is.
It doesn't bother me, but I think it does kind of like, in my head, I start thinking, dang, like, I should have kids right now. Like, I'm the only one like my age that have kids.
Abraham and Sarah in the Bible, like, she didn't have her first kid until she didn't have her child. God blessed her with her child in her, how old was she, like 80s?
Yeah.
I'm not saying like we're gonna be like 80 or anything like that. Before the foundations of this earth, he created us. He knew who we were. He knew what we were gonna be, and like that means he also placed desires in our hearts. Yeah. It's just waiting. Maybe you might be waiting for a year, 2, 3. Oh, girl, don't go that high. Wait, hold on.
What I'm learning is, if we don't get out of the way,
oh my gosh,
it'll take longer.
Girl.
Like, sometimes God is like, he's simply sometimes just waiting for us to just get out of the way.
For real.
Like, sometimes he's like, I'm not gonna she won't listen to me. So, I mean, I can't do it if I can't work it if she's trying to work it at the same time. Sometimes God just wants us to get out of the way.
Man.
And I find myself, I used to blame God. I really did. I blamed God a lot. And now I'm just like, Whitney, it's your fault. Like, I really do.
You like frustrated with yourself.
It's your fault. You didn't listen to me. So like, I can't blame God anymore. I do get, I'm human, and sometimes I cry at him and stuff and yell at him. But I don't blame him. I've accepted complete accountability for my actions and my non-patience in waiting for,
Yeah, and that's what he waits for. Because also, now here's another thing. What I realize is that when we try to take control of our own situation, we get to a point where we become really drained and we become tired because we're doing too much. We're putting our hands in areas where we shouldn't be putting our hands in, and that can be really tiring and it's draining. And sometimes it does take for us to get to this place where we're like, you know what, God, like, I can't, I give up. Yeah, like, we don't give up, but it's like, we surrender.
Yes.
Like,
I surrender. I lay it at your feet. I'm gonna allow you to work on it. I'm not gonna have my hand in it anymore. Exactly. Yeah, my focus may be off. My character may not be prepared, and there's some things that I need to do as a woman. I need to become completely whole. If we don't trust him, we can't wait. And I think the biggest way you can show God that you trust him is by waiting on him. And that's so hard for us. It's so hard.
It's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. That's why it's cool to have the right people around you. Like that's like the next thing. Like you make sure you can't. God didn't put us here to do life by ourselves. Make sure that you're around the right kind of people.
Yeah.
If you're around people who are not giving you good sound advice, you don't need to be around those people. You need to take a step back and you need to look at. You need to reevaluate and stuff like that. So it's important to have people in your life who will encourage you and edify you, and that they will point you in the direction of Christ. Yeah. Because God is the one that, like, in your waiting period, he oh gosh, girl, like the healing process of things, like going through stuff, healing, nobody likes to go through healing. It doesn't feel good. I mean, you have to be steadfast. You have to sit still. You got to trust in God. You got to have faith.
Because when you were saying, I used to have friends that we would go to the club and I'd be like, oh, I would literally, this is just a real moment. I would literally tell them, let's go get drunk. Like, I need a drink. Like, I need a drink. Let's go to the club. Just to kind of wash away that momentary pain that I was feeling. But now I'm in a season where I'm actually like connecting. Like the only person I have is God. Like he's the only one that can fill this void. I'm not returning to that type of stuff because it never fixes it. I actually want a permanent fix. So the only person that can permanently fix it is God. So sometimes, we feel rejected. Sometimes either the man will leave, the women will leave, the relationship just doesn't work out. There is a reason for that. Sometimes maybe that relationship wasn't supposed to happen in that season. He may be the one for you, just not at right now. Sometimes he's just not the one for you. So either way it works. But I would see rejection as God's protection. We glorify the yeses of God, but we should also glorify the no's of God. He's just trying to protect us. That's just really what it is. We need to start seeing his no's as a good thing. I think we see no as a negative connotation, but when it comes from God, it's positive. And so we have to remember that even Jesus was rejected himself by his disciples and the people. So how dare we think that we can't be rejected as well. God is just trying to, sometimes he uses rejection as a way to build our character and build something in ourselves. It could be a job.
Come on.
Like you can get denied a certain job for a reason. I know for me in my season, even when I was doing hair, it wasn't going well at all. Like I wasn't making money. Like it was hard. It's hard being an entrepreneur because you're always waiting on someone to pay you. You don't have a certain check. It's not consistent. It's not consistent. You don't have a consistent check every 2 weeks. And so it got really hard for me. And so I was like, I need to go apply. I'm about to apply to all these different jobs. I applied everywhere. Like, I got interviews, but no one gave me the job. And I'm like, what is happening? Why am I getting rejected? Like, they're acting like they love me. Like, what is happening?
It's crazy.
But later on, if you stay steadfast, sometimes God does it for a reason. Like, there's a reason you didn't get the job. There's a reason you got fired. There's a reason you didn't get that promotion. God has something better for you in a different season. So sometimes you just have to stay steadfast and wait on God.
And like what she said, it's the truth, because especially with that entrepreneurial thing, that's not easy. And in my case, I just kept getting fired. I kept getting fired.
What is this?
And if I could be so real, I remember my mom, like, this last job that I had, and I got fired. My mom, she was just like, I don't understand why you keep getting fired. Well, shoot. I don't either. Like, especially when I'm trying to figure it out myself. Some things, God, you're just not going to understand everything. God is working on the inside and being obedient. And oh my gosh, like, understanding that when God shuts a door, please don't try to reopen that door. Just pay attention to how God is providing for you. He is the biggest provision.
He'll always provide for you. Even when you feel like for instance, you're like, how am I going to pay my car note, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he'll keep you afloat regardless. He'll keep the car, he'll do whatever.
Stop! Like, wait a minute, you're preaching to me.
No, it's real though.
Whitney.
There is a Bible verse that I want to read to you guys. John chapter 1 verse 11. It says, he came to his own and his own did not receive him. So that just shows that even Jesus was rejected by his own, even his disciples, the people that he thought would love him, that the ones that he obviously loves with his whole heart rejected him. So that just shows that we too can be rejected by our family and people that we care about a lot.
Wow. God gives us we have the same power to be able to trample over the serpent and the scorpion's head and still press forward, because the enemy wants us to, he wants us to be afraid of moving forward.
Like, sometimes I'm afraid to talk about God to people, because I'm like, maybe because of the things that I've done, or, you know, even stuff that I've done in the past few months, whatever, you know? Sometimes I feel like I'm not qualified, or I'm afraid that someone's going to be like, she's not like that, or I know how she really is. We try to use that as a reason to stop us from achieving what God wants us to really do. And so, like you said, it's not about what people think.
It's not. It's really not. It's not.
You cannot live your life worried about what the next person's going to think, what they're going to feel. You have to just be obedient and trust God. He'll make a way.
Exactly. Isaiah 40:31, and it says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength."
That's good.
Okay, like literally, like in this time of waiting, like you are being strengthened. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint.
That's so good.
So it's like that strength of God. Like
that reassures you. Like, how, like, nothing can take me down.
Exactly.
So Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. If something goes wrong at your work, something goes wrong with your friend, you guys get an argument, whatever, it's just trust in the Lord and don't lean on your own understanding.
Like when you're in a desert, and when I say like in a desert, you're going through hard time. It seems like things just keep happening, or it feels like things are not letting up. Isaiah 41:18 says, "I will open rivers in desolate heights and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water." So basically, in your hard times, God is going to provide rivers and waters and a way. You know what I mean? Like in those times, like I see that as, okay, God's going to give us that joy. He's going to remind us of hope. Like, you know, like we have something to hope in.
So to wrap it up, just some quick tips on what to do during your waiting period.
Oh yeah.
Get into the Word.
Man.
It's like a number one.
This is like, this is like the number one.
Get into the Word.
This is,
Listen to gospel music. I know for me, like worshiping Him definitely calms my spirit, especially like when I'm going through like anxiety. I have to just throw on something and just sing until it goes away. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Real. And surround yourself with friends, like you said. Surround yourself with friends that are gonna uplift you, edify you, remind you of what God says about you, so you aren't, you know, just stuck in what maybe other people have said to you or done to you. Just be reminded. And of course, like prayer, girl, like stay in prayer, even fasting and community. Also, the right healthy community, people who won't help you to dwell on whatever it is you're going through, but people who will take you away from that. They're encouraging you. I even like listening to sermons. Sermons, Bible studies. Like even for women groups, men groups, it's so healthy to talk about your issues. It's not wrong. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry.
It's a wrap.
In darkness felt His lovely face. I rest on His unchanging grace. On Christ the solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking.
Bounce.